Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and smash that like button. We have a bunch of breaking stories to get to right now, so let's do this. Look what we just found. Mommy and Daddy to be, Laura Lee Trump and Eric Trump. Congratulations. Can't wait to meet him. Make America great again. Alright, next story. Amy Holmes has just exposed them all. This has to go viral. Rasmussen reports political analyst and former The Blaze anchor Amy Holmes has exposed the mainstream media's complete bias against President Trump.
I don't know how they did it, but they did it at length. I mean, CNN apparently went on for hours and hours with this false news. And, when they found out that it was false, given Mr. Comey's testimony, they didn't actually correct the record. They didn't say, we were wrong, we got that totally wrong. And in fact, James Comey confirmed that he told the president on 3 separate occasions that he was not personally under investigation. But if you notice, Howie, these stories always tend to go in one direction, and that's against the president. So you even see the bias when the stories don't get it right.
Yeah, you. I've seen you. You. Our mainstream media can't even get the bias right. Freaking idiots. Next. Look what Fox News just uncovered about the march against Sharia law that the left does not want you to see. Seattle, New York, Minneapolis, Austin. The left-leaning mainstream media turned Saturday's march against Sharia law into an anti-Islamic protest. Fox News has exposed this fallacy.
Hundreds of people across the country protesting Sharia law yesterday, but the mainstream media made it all about Islam.
The clash is erupting into brawls here at home over Islam. Protesters and counter-protesters squaring off across the country tonight, either against the threat of Islamic law or in defense of Muslim Americans.
Activists say anti-Sharia groups promote a distorted view of Islam.
So it was a protest against Sharia law, but it did become all about Islam. This is something, Pete, that you have dived right into.
Yeah, we knew predictably the mainstream media would characterize it as such. So there was one of these protests, these rallies here in New York City. So I hit the streets yesterday to talk to some folks that were there and asked them, why are you here? What are you doing exercising your First Amendment right? What's it all about? And this is what they had to say.
Today there's a protest going on to protest Sharia law, which is an extreme version of Islam.
I don't think that killing people or mistreating women is a religion.
So you're not out here, are you out here protesting against Islam or against Sharia law?
Against Sharia law. I have nothing against Islam.
I want to make sure that we're aware of everything that Sharia is, everything extremist Islam stands for, and we're aware of the dangers.
Are you here to protest against Islam?
It's not against Islam. It's against Sharia law.
Every radical Islam comes from their law. I mean, do we have to stop that already? America had to be strong about this.
It's not about being against Muslims. It's just being against the ideology of, I guess, murdering homosexuals and treating women as a second-class, maybe under a second-class citizen, just dehumanizing.
Over in Britain, they were just frogs boiling in water, and now they're dead.
Critics will say that you're anti-Muslim. Are you anti-Muslim?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think what needs to happen really is a reformation of the religion from the inside. And I feel like that needs to start with Muslims. So we need Muslims. The fact is that none of these people would want to kick out Muslims from this country. That's not what we're about here. At least that's my understanding of America.
Yeah, and that's what I heard across the board. We talked to a bunch of folks down there. This was one of 28 protests across the country. Some did include clashes with counter-protesters. So the Antifa, the anti-fascist, wearing all black and masks were out there to confront. But I think what you find are groups of patriots who say, you look what happens in Europe, you look at the contentions they're having and terrorist attacks they've had. How do we make sure that American values are perpetuated here and that things like Sharia law, which is an extreme form of Islam, are not implemented subtly or directly? And that's ultimately what they said. And they pointed to the Constitution and said, hey, we've got a First Amendment right to stand up for the values that have always made America great. So it was always enjoyable to go out there and
good stuff. And you got right in there and got the story for us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so Antifa means anti-fascist, but they are the fascist ones. So we can't call them Antifa. Can't let them have that. That's a lie. They're FA. They're not Antifa. They're FA. They're fascists. They're ISIS now. They're like mini junior varsity ISIS members. So let's call them fascists. How's that sound? Fascists? So fascists. Not Antifa. It's fascists. Because they're fascist ISIS members. Thank you. Next. Fascists. Remember that. Comment below fascists. I won't remember. Breaking. Look who just called for an end to special counsel. This is big. Okay? Big with a capital B-I-G. If you think it's time to end the collusion witch hunt, please share and comment below. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich has called for the abolishment of the special counsel in the Russia investigation, citing James Comey's testimony. The Hill reported former House Speaker Newt Gingrich slammed former FBI Director James Comey on Sunday, accusing him of manipulating the investigation into Russian election meddling and calling for Congress to dismiss the special counsel entirely. It's very clear that Comey hates Trump, Gingrich told radio host John Katsmidadis. Comey is clearly extraordinarily hostile to Trump. I think Congress should now intervene and they should abolish the independent counsel because Comey makes so clear that his position it's the poisoned fruit of a deliberate manipulation by the FBI director leaking to the New York Times deliberately set up this particular situation. It's very sick. Gingrich's comments followed Comey's testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee on Thursday, in which he told lawmakers that if he had instructed a friend to share the unclassified info of an interaction between him and President Trump with the reporter. That memo detailed a February meeting in which Trump allegedly pressed Comey to drop the FBI investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Comey said that by leaking the memo, he had hoped to prompt the Justice Department to appoint a special counsel to lead the Russia probe. A day after the New York Times published the article detailing that memo, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed the former FBI Director Robert Mueller as a special counsel to investigation. So it worked. Him leaking it to the press in hopes of a special counsel worked. One day later, they got a special counsel. Trump's personal attorney, Mark Kautowitz, accused Comey of leaking so privileged communications with the president and suggested the former top cop should be investigated for doing so. Finally, CNN just admitted everything. The witch hunt must end. After Comey's testimony, CNN finally admitted that the Russian investigation is an anti-Trump witch hunt. Really? CNN reported the lead up to James Comey's testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the mainstream media hyped the event as a blockbuster television event of the summer, promising fireworks and ground-shaking revelations. But once the hearing started, the left's narrative quickly evaporated. Instead of the American people witnessing a thorough debunking of the mainstream, media's false reporting and Democrats' anti-Trump hysteria. Their story crumbled as Comey repeatedly confirmed key facts highlighted by the President Trump in recent weeks. Specifically, Comey clearly stated that the President Trump was at no point a subject of any investigation. The former FBI director also made clear that President Trump never asked for the Russia investigation to be dropped. These points were so clear that even ultra-liberal MSNBC host Chris Matthews admitted that Trump-Russia collusion narrative came apart with Comey's testimony. The former director put it simply: there have been many stories based on, well, lots of stuff, but about Russia that are all dead wrong. In an effort to pad their fact-free reporting, the mainstream media has become highly relevant on anonymous sources, and it speaks volumes that it took the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing before the former FBI director to bring the truth to light. In fact, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas sought further clarification by pointing and asking about much-discussed New York Times story from February titled "Trump Campaign Aides Had Repeated Contacts with Russian Intelligence." Comey did not mince words by responding that the Times story was not true. He says yes when Cotton asked if the article was almost entirely wrong. Comey used an Idaho Republican Senator Jim Rice question on Times false reporting as an opportunity to expand on the challenge with the media reporting using classified information and anonymous sourcing. He put it simply: the people who are talking about it often don't really know what's going on, and the people who know what's going on aren't talking about it. I added that because I remember his word for word what he said. In fact, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas sought further clarification. See, that's a double. That's a double right there. He went on to explain department policy that those of us who actually know what's going on are not talking about it, see? And we don't call the press to say, hey, you got that thing wrong about that sensitive topic. We just have to leave it there, he said. This just further underscores the problems the administration has been pointing all along using unidentified sources and rumors. Another line of questioning, this time from the Republican Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, on leaks of the press, highlighted the agenda of the mainstream media to use leaks to harm the president, but also forced Comey to admit to himself that he leaked damaging information about the president. Rubio astutely observed, the only thing that's ever not been leaked is the fact that the president was not personally under investigation. Why? Because it didn't fit the left's Russian narrative? While Comey's testimony revealed no new information regarding President Trump, we did learn a great deal about his concerns regarding the previous administrations, specifically the apparent obstruction arising from former Attorney General Loretta Lynch in the FBI Hillary Clinton email investigation. It's clear that the Obama administration has serious new questions to answer based on Comey's testimony. The Comey hearing ended up being a bust for those Democrats peddling conspiracy theories about Trump and Russia, and even more embarrassing for the media outlets fueling the hysteria with inaccurate reporting. It's past time for the witch hunt to end, and hopefully Comey's testimonies help hasten its demise. It sure did. It sure did. Thanks for watching, folks. Please stop off at our store, pick up a shirt, a mug, help support the channel, and remember, keep watching, keep fighting. You are the resistance. Vote every election. So if you like that video, you will love the one we picked right for you, right where those arrows are pointing. See? Ding, 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 ding. Click on it, and I'll see you in a moment. Thanks for watching the news channel that doesn't lie to your face. Not fake news.